Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into GSA schedule contracts.
Right.
Think of these as, well, long-term deals, pre-negotiated, between the U.S. General Services Administration, the GSA, and commercial businesses.
And the bottom line, they make it way simpler for federal agencies to buy stuff, goods and services.
Exactly. So we're going to unpack what they are, why they're such a potentially big deal.
And how companies like MarketUS fit in, how they help businesses get through this whole process.
We've got some great material today. Info from MarketUS's own sites, articles by Michael Price.
Ah, yes, the godfather of GSA contracts, as they call him.
That's the one. And even a presentation about getting started with federal business.
So our mission really is to pull out the key stuff, give everyone a clear picture of this opportunity.
Let's jump right into MarketUS then, founded way back in 1986.
Yeah, that's almost 4 decades they've been helping companies navigate the government marketplace. That's a long time.
And their track record? Pretty impressive. Helped clients win over $75 billion in GSA Schedule business.
$75 billion. That's a huge number. And look at their client.
Big names, right? Dell Compute, Johns Manville.
List Industries, even Hyundai. It shows the kind of scale they operate at.
And they're a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business. They really stress that personalized service.
Which probably makes a difference in this complex field. And they're in the top 1% for GSA contract revenues. That says a lot about their focus and success.
It's not just about getting the contract done either. They seem to do a lot of education, provide resources.
Yeah, helping companies understand the whole government sales cycle. Apparently, they even beta tested a lot of the automated GSA programs used today.
So really innovators in this space for a long time.
And the person leading it, Michael Price. 40 years of experience in federal contracts.
Wow.
Yeah, he's described as a edutainer, speaker, content producer. Sounds like he knows the stuff and how to explain it.
Which is crucial because this stuff can get complicated fast.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's zoom out. Why should someone listening, maybe looking to get up to speed quickly, really care about GSA schedules? What's the core value here?
Well, look, it's a direct path, a really direct way to sell to federal agencies.
And the key thing, I think, is that agencies are often required to buy from these schedule holders, right?
That's often the case, yeah. It gives schedule holders a significant leg up. It's not just another way to sell, it's often the preferred way for agencies.
And there's that GSA Advantage online platform. That's like the marketplace.
Exactly. It simplifies everything for the government buyers. They log in, find pre-approved vendors with pre-negotiated prices. Boom. Much less red tape.
Cuts down on all that bureaucracy.
Right. And another thing, having a GSA schedule can actually unlock doors to other big government contracts, these government-wide acquisition contracts, or GWCs.
So it's kind of like a stepping stone.
Sort of, yeah. It builds credibility and familiarity within the system.
Okay, let's define it clearly then. What exactly is a GSA schedule contract? You hear Federal Supply Schedule, FSS contract.
They all mean the same thing, pretty much. It's a long-term agreement, 5 years initially, with options to extend.
And the core of it is the pre-negotiated prices, terms, conditions, all approved by the GSA.
Approved for use by, theoretically, any government agency. That's the power of it.
And technically, it's an IDIQ contract, right? Indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity.
Right. That sounds like jargon, but what it means for a business is there's no ceiling. No maximum order limit baked into the contract itself.
Which could be huge if you have something the government really needs.
Absolutely. MarketUS calls it the easiest and least expensive way to sell to the government. That's a bold claim, but you can see the logic.
So for the businesses holding these schedules, what are the big benefits?
Well, the big one is agencies can just issue purchase orders directly to you.
Skipping the whole long bidding process, the RFPs.
Exactly. Those can take months, tons of resources. With a schedule, the pricing set, the terms are set, it streamlines the whole transaction.
So faster sales cycles, potentially.
Definitely. And potentially more sales overall, reaching a much broader federal customer base.
And higher profits, too, potentially.
Yeah.
Because you avoid resellers.
Yeah, that's a good point. Reseller markups can eat, 15, maybe 30% of the price? Selling direct keeps that margin.
That's significant.
And there's this other neat thing. Agencies can sometimes bundle schedule items and non-schedule items on one order.
Oh, really? How does that work?
Well, if the non-schedule stuff is minor, cost-wise, compared to the main order, they can often just add it on for convenience. Makes it easier for the buyer.
Gotcha. Okay, so who can actually buy off these schedules?
Primarily, it's all federal government agencies and departments. You know, the big ones.
But it's broader than that, isn't it?
It is. State and local governments can use them too, but mainly for IT-related purchases. That's a specific carve-out.
Okay, IT. What else?
Well, entities called executive agencies, think Congress, the White House. They can use them.
Right.
And even prime contractors working on federal projects, if they need stuff related to government-furnished equipment or GFE.
So the reach is pretty wide.
It really is. And the GSA actively pushes procurement officers to use the schedules. Why? Because it's efficient. Saves them time and taxpayer money.
Makes sense. Now, what kinds of things can businesses sell? Is it just products or services too?
Both. Definitely both products and services. It's a really wide range.
Like what are some popular areas?
Oh, information technology is huge, obviously. Professional engineering services, management consulting.
Marketing, financial services.
Yep, marketing and public information, financial management services, even things like environmental advisory services.
So a lot of professional services, but also IT hardware, software.
Exactly. The GSA website has the full list, broken down by schedule category. It covers a ton of ground.
Okay, this sounds great, but there have to be some catches,
Yeah.
right? Some responsibilities. Compliance must be a big one.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Getting the contract is just the start. Maintaining compliance is ongoing, and it's serious business.
What does that involve? Sticking to the prices.
Sticking strictly to the agreed-upon pricing and delivery terms, yes. Submitting regular sales reports, there's an annual one that's really important.
And all the usual federal rules, I assume?
Yeah.
Labor laws, discrimination, environment.
All of that. You have to comply with all relevant federal laws and regulations. No shortcuts.
And record keeping must be key.
Essential. You need meticulous records because the GSA can ask for them anytime. They can and do conduct audits.
And if you mess up, non-compliance.
Penalties can range from warnings to financial penalties, and in serious cases, they can terminate your contract.
Ouch. So it's not just get it and forget it?
Not at all. It's a living contract. You need to do things like annual price updates, keep certifications current. It requires ongoing attention.
Okay, so it's valuable, but requires commitment.
Mm.
How does a company actually get one of these contracts? What's the process look like?
Well, first off, it's competitive. You don't just fill out a form and get one handed to you.
Right. You have to qualify.
Exactly. You need to show you're financially stable, have a decent track record, satisfactory past performance.
So what are the steps involved?
Starts with research. Figure out which GSA schedule fits what you sell. Then, prepare your offer. That means putting together a detailed capabilities statement.
Financial documents, past projects.
All of that. Financials, proof of past performance, any relevant certifications. It's a big documentation lift.
Then you submit it all to the GSA.
Right. And then you wait. GSA reviews it, might ask for clarifications, maybe even do a site visit.
And after the review?
If they like what they see, you move into negotiations. This is where you finalize the terms, the pricing, everything.
And if that goes well, you get the contract award.
Correct. But then the work shifts. You have to actively market your schedule to agencies, let them know you're available.
And keep the contract up to date.
Continuously review and update it, yeah. MarketUS suggests the initial prep can take like up to 6 months. Plus, GSA review time, it's not quick.
Which is where a company like MarketUS comes in, presumably, offering help.
Precisely. They leverage their, nearly 4 decades of experience to guide companies through it.
They have that done-for-you service, right?
Yeah, the done-for-you GSA contract application. They help package and submit the application for the 5-year contract.
And there's a more comprehensive option, too.
The full-service one. That takes you from square one all the way to award, plus a year of post-award support. Even includes some marketing stuff like interviews.
That sounds pretty involved.
Yeah.
What about prerequisites? You need certain things in place first, right?
Definitely. You need a federal ID or taxpayer ID number. You absolutely need to be registered in SAM, the System for Award Management.
That's the main government vendor database.
It is. And you need a UEI, the Universal Entity Identifier. Those are table stakes before you even start thinking about the application.
MarketUS also mentioned a one-day web shop. What's that about?
Ah, yeah. That seems like a more hands-on, maybe faster option. An interactive webinar designed to help companies basically complete their proposal in a single day.
So more DIY, but with guidance. And potentially less costly than full service.
That seems to be the idea. Save time, save internal resources, get it done quickly.
Okay, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if a company decides they do want help, whether from MarketUS or someone else, what should they look for in a consultant?
Oh, great question. Experience is number one. Deep experience specifically with GSA contracts.
Not just general government contracting.
Ideally, specific GSA experience. Can they show you examples, prove they've successfully gotten contracts awarded, negotiated good terms?
You'd want to know exactly what services they offer too. Full support, partial.
Absolutely. And ask about their client volume. It's an indicator of reputation success rate.
What about timelines? Can they give a realistic estimate?
They should be able to, based on current GSA processing times and your situation.
Yeah.
And crucially, ask about post-submission support.
Like helping with clarifications, negotiations.
Exactly. And post-award registration, ongoing maintenance support, compliance help, that's all vital.
And check references, obviously. Look them up online.
Always. You want to avoid unreliable consultants. Do your homework.
Okay, so let's say you've done it. You've navigated the process. You have your GSA schedule. Now what? How do you make the most of it?
Good question. MarketUS really pushes blanket purchase agreements or BPAs as a next step.
BPAs. What are those, essentially?
Think of it like setting up a charge account with a specific agency. It's an agreement that outlines terms for future orders, but without specific quantity or time limits built in.
So it's like a funded commitment from the agency.
Pretty much. It establishes a framework so the agency can easily buy from you repeatedly as needed. It streamlines their buying, saves admin time, cuts paperwork.
And they can just order as much as they need, when they need it, under that BPA.
As long as it's within the scope of your GSA schedule that the BPA is based on, yes.
Yeah.
And MarketUS notes you can even build teaming arrangements into BPAs.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk money. Return on investment. Getting the contract to cost something, right? Time, maybe consultant fees.
Right. There's an investment. MarketUS used that $6,000 example for their done-for-you service fee over 5 years.
So how do you make that back?
Well, they point out the minimum sales required in the first 2 years is $25,000 per year.
Okay.
Even at that minimum, if you have, say, a 20% profit margin, you'd potentially make $10,000 profit in those first 2 years, covering the initial investment and then some.
And that's just the minimum sales.
Exactly. The potential scales up dramatically. A $100 K in annual sales could mean $20K profit per year or $100 over the 5 years. $1 million in sales, $200 profit per year.
And they mentioned Dell's early success.
Yeah, as their first GSA client, Michael Dell supposedly did $6 million in the first year, grew it to over $1 billion by 2006. Shows the kind of astronomical potential, though obviously that's an outlier.
Still, it illustrates the possibility. Now, what about the regulations? The FAR, Federal Acquisition Regulation. How does that help GSA holders?
This is a key advantage. FR Part 8.4 specifically deals with federal supply schedules.
And what does it say?
Crucially, FAR 8.404 says when agencies order off the schedules, they generally don't need to seek further competition.
No rebidding.
Nope. They don't have to publicize the requirement, don't need a separate price fairness check, don't even have to worry about small business set-asides in the same way.
Wow, that really simplifies things for the buyer.
Massively. It makes using the schedules much faster and easier for them. And FIR 6.102 actually recognizes using these schedules as a competitive procedure, so it satisfies competition requirements inherently.
Which makes schedule holders very attractive vendors.
Extremely attractive. Preferred, even.
Okay, circling back to MarketUS specifically, they really lean on their long history, right? Almost 40 years.
They do. They emphasize that longevity, their specific focus on GSA and VA contracts, the personalized support.
And they have testimonials from big companies, Dell, List Industries, Ameritech.
Right, highlighting their effectiveness. And again, Michael Price's deep expertise is central to their pitch.
So if someone's interested, MarketUS encourages a discovery call.
Yeah, a call to talk through needs, clear up misconceptions. They list their main number, 954-636-3232.
And the website, MarketUS.com.
Suggests it might be worth asking about current offers if someone contacts them.
Okay, let's wrap this up. What are the big takeaways for someone listening to this deep dive?
Well, I think the main thing is a GSA schedule contract is a seriously powerful tool for accessing the federal market. It's huge.
But the process isn't simple. It can be complex, requires real effort and understanding.
Absolutely, which is why firms like MarketUS exist to provide that expertise and streamline things.
And the benefits seem clear. Direct access to buyers, easier procurement for agencies.
which makes you more attractive, and ultimately the potential for significant revenue growth. It seems really worthwhile for businesses looking to expand into the government space.
So if this conversation has piqued someone's interest, what's the logical next step?
I'd say do a bit more digging. Look into the specific GSA schedule categories relevant to your business.
Check out resources like the GSA's own website and maybe MarketUS.com for their perspective.
Yeah, start thinking about which schedule fits best: IT, professional services, something else. And who are your likely agency customers?
Start mapping it out a bit.
Exactly.
All right, and finally, a little something to mull over.
Yeah.
Given how massive government spending is and how GSA schedules offer this kind of streamlined path, what untapped potential might be sitting inside your own business right now to serve the public sector, maybe in ways you haven't considered before?
That's a good question to leave people with. Food for thought.